Captain's Log, April 24th, 2026. Hello, I'm Captain Vile. Good on you, you've made it to Friday. Getting hot, I like to imagine that there's one Violin who is tuned in after a week of listening to people going on and on about, oh, gee, I'm sweating, and oh man, it's hot, but it's a dry heat. And then, as some kind of reprieve, they get home, and they're like, okay, I have some peace and quiet. I can get some work done. All right, let's play the Captain's Log. And the first thing they hear is, it's getting hot, huh? But it is going into May. I've mentioned my calendar. I've not pulled it because I got home late from work and had to go to school early. Well, I say go to school early. I actually woke up later than I wanted to, and went to school at the normal time. I just had to rush out the door. Wasn't late though, but didn't have time to pull the calendar thing, so that'll be a treat to do on the show. We'll get to Media Minute in a second. Let me do my bit. So, trivia, Al. On this month in 1941, which Orson Welles' landmark film, now revered as one of the greatest movies in history, was revealed? And true or false, Viggo Mortensen only agreed to play Aragorn in Lord of the Rings after his son begged him to do it? I don't know either. I'm gonna probably feel stupid for the Orson Welles one. Apparently that was true. And it was Citizen Kane. Don't I have egg on my face? Anywho, speaking of movies, what did I watch this week? I watched Subway, as I said I would last week. I got around to it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and said, my favorite scene was him exploring deeper into the back rooms of the Metro after leaving the crowd, but before meeting the criminals. The atmosphere of this film is great. The fluorescent lights, pipes, and concrete are put to good use. Everything else was alright. The film is like talking to someone who has a great voice, like to listen to for a while, but doesn't talk about anything interesting. This is part of a late 80s, early 90s trend of style over substance French movies my father told me about, and told me about a while ago when I watched some style over substance movies such as Daybreakers, and there was another one. Oh, it was Dust Bunny. Recent film, actually. Going back to the... I just have a lot of thoughts I want to pin down, but I do want to talk a bit more about this movie. It reminds me somewhat of Marabito, specifically the first few minutes when he's exploring the subway, because, shocker, they're similar, of him sneaking around in these just kind of... I'm not going to describe them as liminal spaces, because they're not. It's restricted spaces. He's in parts of the subway, I'm referring to Marabito now, that you're not allowed to, unless you're a worker in the subway and you're like routinely going down to the underneath everything and messing with wires. This, to me, is novel. I think I've spoken about this before. I remember saying it. I don't remember where, though. It might be a previous Captain's Log, but like an older one. I always enjoy watching repairmen, especially if it's like to construction of like pipes in the road or specific wires to light lights. Just being able to see like the inner workings of stuff, I find so interesting. If I had the ability to turn invisible, I would do so, and I would just stand there and watch them, like, okay, well, this is the problem. I'm gonna reach here, get this tool, and just silently do something. I see what he's doing. Let's see how the wires go and whatnot. Because whenever I'm in a room with like someone who's like fixing a light or like some wires in a door, or as I said earlier, like the streets in fight, because there's a lot of construction on my street. If I'm able to, I'll try and like look down like the hole that they've opened the lid on, but I'll try and like linger for like a second or two before they notice I'm lingering, and then continue on, because it's neat to see, and it's kind of why I like these kinds of in the subway movies. But yeah, definitely adds to the interesting atmosphere. Kind of not alien, but unknown. As well as it makes very good use of like lighting. Quite likes that, especially in the when he's on the catwalk, holding the fluorescent light. I mean, that's on the damn like. It's not the cover, but it's certainly one of a more well-known shot. Didn't have time, as I said, because I got to record this before it goes out. Excuse me. And get back from school late. Did not have time to watch my pick this week. So that's 2 shows in a row where I've not watched the film of the week, that show. They're all kind of set forward. Maybe I'll be able to fix that next week. I don't know. I mean, it's not that big of an issue. It's just something kind of funny. But it's AI, the Steven Spielberg movie, which I've heard about but never seen. So I've been told it's good by my father. I'll see if... I mean, I'm not, not saying he's lying to me. He's got to watch it too. But I'll look into that. Oh, another watching thing. From Season 4 is finally out. Annoyingly, it's doing a rational move and releasing weekly instead of all at once, so I can watch all of it right now, like I wanted to, and I can't. So it's just episode 1 of season 4. But I made a video on should you watch from. How old is that video? I think it's like a year. Hang on, I just want to see. Give me a moment. I said I was going to make more. I wouldn't consider that really a video essay, but I do want to make more in that should you watch series. So hang on. Gotta find the damn thing. Check how long it's been since I made a quote on the quote video essay. Yeah, it's been about a year. A little over. Made it in March. So yeah. But that only covers the first 3 seasons. Now we're getting into season 4. Have they fixed any of the issues I mentioned? From an acting side, it doesn't seem like they did. I think that the cast still have the same weak links they do, or did. I mean, weak links are still enough to hold the weight, but they're the weak links. Writing standpoint, we still need to get. I mean, it's the first goddamn episode. I'm not going to judge it off that. I'd like to get a little further into it. I don't know if this is going to be the last one. It might be. It might not be. Show's pretty slow. So, it might... If it's not, I don't know if the one after that will be the last one. I don't know how long the show's going to go on for. I don't know how long it can go on for, because canonically, it takes place over, like, a few months. And their kid... Because that's always the trouble with, like... Well, 2 problems with child actors. 1, you're kind of permanently altering that kid's life. Like, they're not going to be normal. Sorry to that kid and to, like, child actors, but it's just not good. And two, they age. They're gonna have a growth spurt, and suddenly it's like, does this take place over like a few months or a few years? Because it is a few years. I think they had to replace the kid for season 3, actually. I don't remember, but I think I read something about that. Anywho, I liked the first episode, so that's a good sign. I don't know if this is just a delightful candy bar, or if it's just god-awful medicine that's been coated in chocolate so far. I'll find out. I'm not sure why I mentioned it, if there's literally nothing I can say on it, but because I don't want to spoil it. There's a lot of stuff that they're covering, because season 3 ended on a cliffhanger. Which, oh, Kaplan, that's a spoiler. No, it's not. Season 4 is out now. You're not going to go into it and be like, oh god, what am I going to do? When's the next season come out? It's out now. You can get into the show right now and not suffer like a long wait. Anyhow. So, I wanted to mention March. Not March, idiot. That's when we made the From video. May. Got them mixed up. 5 months into the year. Doesn't quite feel like it, truth be told. Going by pretty quick. I mean, it felt like it was slow while it was happening, but looking back, it's like, it's already almost March? May, what the hell? But yes, we're almost halfway through the year. I think it's just because I've been on break, and now I'm back at school. So I've had good, handful of months. I don't know about months. I think it was maybe like 1 or something. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I've not been on or on break that long. We just got back. It wasn't very long. I don't know why it felt so long. So quick. I guess it just goes by. I don't know. Weird. I would say it's probably my routine. I have a very routine life. I try and have each day be the same. I mean, each day is not the same. I got school one day, work the other day, nothing one day, and then both school and work one day. So they're not, but I try and have some kind of routine that probably helps days kind of blend into one another, so they go by faster and all that. But there is, of course, my yearly bet. I mean, there's also the channel's 4th anniversary coming up, but well, it is in May. It's May 27th. I think I've mentioned this. I think I mentioned this every time I mentioned the channel anniversary, but I didn't know it was going to do that. So I made the channel May 27th, or maybe specifically 8th. No, it was 27th. And I uploaded the first video June. I wanted June 1st to be the channel anniversary, because I thought that's what it meant. I didn't know making the channel meant, oh, this... Because if you go into the About page, it'll say... Open up again. Joined May 27th. But the first video was June 1st. I thought it was going to say, I guess, uploaded June 1st. So it's a bit of an easier anniversary to remember. But no. I should have uploaded the video the same day I uploaded or I should have waited till I uploaded the channel. No one would do that. Oh well. So I think this will be the last audio kind of anniversary I try and do. I mean, I guess I'll mention this more. Well, no. Because, hang on. Does it fall on... No, it's 29th. It's on a Wednesday, though. It's something. It is also Wednesday 29th. Ed al-Adha? Time for sacrifice and gratitude? Apparently it's some holiday I don't know about. So that's something. Nifty. So this is the last monthly show. I can talk about it, I suppose I can mention it on other Captain vlogs. But yeah, no one seems to like the audio-only anniversaries. I mean, they can be kind of tedious to make, but I still like them. I'm always interested in making like audio dramas. I've got some planned that I'll add some. I will begrudgingly add some visual elements to. I mean, I get it having it just be a black screen. Yeah, maybe not the best move. There is a YouTuber, Film Cow. You might know them from various older internet shows, such as Unicorns with Hats. Not Unicorns with Hats. No, Llamas with Hats and Charlie the Unicorn. Got them mixed up there. Anyway, he's got 4? I believe it's free. Yes, he's got Never Monday, The Titanic 2, This Time It's Fine, and The Table. They're about 40 minutes, The Table being an hour. But they're good, and they are audio dramas. He doesn't have that many, but I think they're quite good. Never Monday, specifically, I quite like. I think that's my favorite. Very well done foreshadowing. That's all I'm going to say on it. Just keep an eye on everything that's mentioned and set up if you listen to it, which I encourage you to do. But yeah, he's got a good method for, I suppose it would be keeping attention during audio only content. Is he has a it's like the video length. So he has one object moving along the screen, as if it's like the bar, throughout the entire thing, as well as the background constantly changing. I would describe it akin to, like, a screensaver, where it's like oil, kind of. It's this, like, liquidy thing. It like, pulsates from black and orange, but it's always moving, but not enough to distract you. And then there is something moving along the bottom of the screen. Again, not enough to distract you, but enough that there's movement. So I guess your eyes don't, like, glaze over the black screen that would be there if there was nothing. Like in my stuff. So I'll be sure to add something. But yeah, I have some ideas for some longer ones. Some ideas for, this is a sketchy segue, but I think I've mentioned before that Upname as a character is really only good in, like, a supporting role. As a villain or as, like, a side, just kind of there. Like, supporting the main character as if, like, actually helping them, but only because he's been paid to do so, or actively trying to stop the main character or kill them. Having him be the main character is a little iffy. So I've got some audio drama stuff planned with him, which will also be a lot easier to do, because, like, if you want to do murder, I mean, horror is an easy thing to do on a shoestring budget, but you wouldn't have to do any budget if you just do sound design. So I could do some, like, murders as with that. And I did, actually, thinking about it. I did do just sound design for an Upname kill. So his first appearance, I've got a deal you can't refuse, is off-screen, heavily implied murder, where he attacks the, like, it's first-person point of view, so he attacks you, I guess. And then the second one, it cuts to his assistant's point of view, watching him kill. I can't remember if I made this assistant disgusted, or I got a bunch of crap here. I don't, because I made Fake Estate Agent before I planned out, like, who Wolfman was. We just had his assistant. But I don't remember I do not remember if I made his assistant pleased or disgusted while watching. I think I made him disgusted because he turned the monitor off, so we didn't have to see, because he's got this thing where he, like, records his kills and live streams them on, like, the dark web or whatever. Always getting any ounce of content and money he can, because he, like, streams. What if he, like... What if he talks like a streamer sometimes? Alright, guy. Let's try and get our donation goal. Our top of the line donation. Oh, God. No, that's terrible. Wolfman banned that guy. No, I'm not gonna do that again. But yeah, no. So Upname records, so it's Upname can turn the monitor up. But I just did it with sound design. I obviously cut something else, and I just used the audio of me, like, tearing a melon open with my bare hands and occasionally using a knife. Pissed, I just kicked my desk. Nothing fell, though, that's good. But yeah, no, I guess Upname has some very loose roots in, like, audio. It's just, I mean, that's basic sound editing for, like, a movie, but I like to make audio-only content. So I'm going to say that there is a link between this character of mine and this medium of mine that I like. I mean, you're on a goddamn audio-only thing right now. What do you think this is? But no, I mean like a narrative, not just me rambling. So you got some stuff from that planned. And also, so this is I've got so many goddamn talking points relating to Upname. I didn't mean, I had two, but I realized I have to explain how they connect now, so I guess there's technically three. I guess all the Upname fans are in uproar right now. So, he started as a character I would use for school projects. So if I ever had to make a video, I would make it that it was like one of his commercials or something. And I've been doing that ever since. And now, this school year, the main assignments are advertisements. There's two advertisements we have to make. A minute and 30 seconds. Not a minute advertisement and a 30-second advertisement. And on top of that, just as like a personal thing that is recommended by the lecturer that I will be doing, is a 20-second advertisement of us. And he said do it as like, oh, you can do it as like a resume kind of thing. Show off your strengths and whatnot. And, you know, I could do that. But I could also do it in a way that it's framed as if you're buying the right to kill me and steal my organs on the dark web. So instead of being like, oh yeah, he's like a film student who excels in like editing and script writing, it's, oh yeah, he has a very repetitive routine, no history of diseases, decently healthy, no self-defense training whatsoever, just kind of like that. And it'll be like CCTV footage and like multiple camera angles from like outside my window or like me walking across the street, so it looks like I'm being stalked. And I could probably make that Upname. Now the 30-second and a minute commercials, those are group projects, so I don't know if my group members are willing to let me have full creative control and have it be all about my OC. I think they'll be a little confused and I mean, there's probably not going to be any motivation to like stop it and be like, all right, I guess that's like a hook, but I don't know. But maybe. Could be fun. So maybe I'll be able to get to use Upname for class again. but now with people who don't know who he is. Because I think my teachers began to recognize him in my projects. Because I mean, it was fun to use. And easy, too, because he was just a pretty simple costume. He's got a bit of a complex costume now. I don't think I could do that. I think I'd need to get parts if I wanted it to be completely accurate, instead of just doing like the old suit he wore while I was in high school. But I've got some parts that I could still use. I still got the glasses though. I'm glad about that. I've got a. I might have a glass of water. Hang on. Find the damn thing. Yeah, it's fine. I'll finish. I want to. Nifty. Complaining about how hot it is, and 26 minutes into the show is the first time I have water. I am out of things to talk about. Grand. I'm really just kind of tired. I should have taken a nap when I got home from school. But, alright. Let's see if I have any Captain's Log topics. I don't think I do. So, sorry. Am I gonna have to... And I went into it this time knowing it was the... This isn't like last end of the month show. Where it's like, oh, I've got to ad-lib 20 minutes here. Nope. I do this annoying thing that I'm never going to change in my... Because I have it up in Google Drives. So it's like Captain's commentary notes, or like Captain's log and whatnot. So it's... You click one thing and without like studying it, and it's something else. Because it all begins with like Captain's this, Captain's that. So here's Captain's log. And all that to see, I didn't write down any talking points or any... Oh my god, wait, the students. So, last week, I said that I'd keep you informed of any developments with the two students of interest in my class. That being the guy who trauma dumped his life story, and the guy who smells like a dump, and constantly interrupts the lecturers and scrolls on reels during classes very loudly. And I've got some news, so I had to sit next to the trauma dump guy. I was thinking of a nickname for him. Kind of want to do like a play on overshare. Overshare Oswald? That doesn't sound anything like over. Dover? But Dover's not a first name. That's like a dog's first name. Let's just call him, for the purpose of this, Student A. Or just A. Not Student A. Whatever. So Student A, I had to sit next to him for this afternoon. Well, actually this morning, but whatever. He didn't show up for afternoon class. And he didn't quite... Not to the level he did where it was like just the other guy, the lecturer, and I in an empty room. But I could tell he was like trying to keep it to a minimum, but he still kind of overshared. But because it was a crowded room, and because the lecturer had already like moved on, excuse me, he kind of like... So it's I keep stumbling over my words. I apologize for that. He started explaining something, but like the focus shifted away from him, so he just kind of like realized no one was listening, And then he kind of, like, kept going because he realized no one can hear me, but I could hear him. He didn't know that. And then he kind of got it out of his system and, like, petered out. But... So, I'll explain his, like... Just soap opera drama going on. If you watched the last episode, I'm sorry, but I mean, for people who didn't. So his half-brother was kidnapped by his dad a few years ago, and then recently he's gotten him back. And he's been, like, really aggressive towards him and his mother and his grandfather. And I think he said he was also, like, balding. And he is, too. That's another thing. I don't know how old he is. And I believe this was an over-exaggeration. Like, this was the lecturer using hyperbole. But the lecturer said something about him being here since 1994. I don't think that's true at all. But I do think he's been at the school for 5 years, and he's, like, because he's not shown, so I think he's, like, had to repeat years multiple times. But I know he's been apparently at the school for a while, but we've never known about him. But that's why he's had a bunch of, like, family issues. But he's now, update to this, with his stepbrother and mother and grandfather, his mother is trying to kick him out of the house, but, like, not... So I think he's attempting to squat, because he said he's living in the garden. So I think he's locked out of the house, but he's still, like, living... I think he mentioned he was gonna build a shed or something, but he sleeps in the garden. I think he mentioned that and he lives in a wooded area. And there was this, like, wedding that was held near his house, and someone from the wedding came over and gave him a pot brownie. I mean, this was when he started realizing that he could, like, let all out, so he started going, like, a mile a minute, like, in, like, hushed tones, so it was hard to make out. But I know for certain he was given a pot brownie by someone in the woods that I believe was at some kind of wedding ceremony. And he's planning on building a shed. So... interesting life there, I have to say. Now on to Student B, the smelly and noisy one. So I mentioned that I'll call him the advertising lecturer, did not suffer him. Anytime he would open up, he would not snap his fingers, but he would hold his hand up and go, "Shut up. Shut up. Don't say anything else." And various things like that. He really shut him down every time. So that happened last week, and this week we now have we had advertising lecturer all day Friday, but now we only had him half a day, and then we have alcohol and analytical lecturer for the rest of the day. And my friends have apparently been in class with the analytical lecturer and student B at the same time. And she also doesn't really suffer him, but she's a lot more polite about it, or generally she's a lot more polite, but has once snapped at him. And that didn't happen, but he kept describing it as if it was this, like, a huge event that I, like, missed out on or something. And she did kind of get rid of him, or sick of him. Not rid of him, no. And my friend just kind of, like, winced as if he's like, oh, it's happening again, kind of thing. But yeah, no, he interrupted her a lot, and she she's decently quiet, and she kind of, like, not a yell, but, like, a raised,
Like, I'm being serious now. Shut up. Well, she didn't say shut up, but that kind of thing. So that's happened. So previously, I thought that the lecturers all just kind of put up with him, and then advertising lecturer was the one person who was like, no. Mm-mm. But I think it's also that this is like the last thing of the year. They're well acquainted with student B. I think they're getting a bit sick of him now. They were maybe timid, trying to be understanding, and all right, it's fine. Maybe 1 or 2 interruptions. It's all right, and they've like put up with it. But now it's like, okay, this is clearly a pattern. This is just what this guy does. Shut up. So it's fun. And again, no, not again. I didn't mention it this time. But he does not have any friends. He's like a weasel. Not like a weasel. What am I trying to compare him to at the moment? He's like a fungus. Yes, I think he's akin to that. Doesn't have any friends. So if you're in like your group, because this happened today, we had to like kick him out of our table. Well, kick him out is like forceful, but he tried to like get into our like hanging out over the like half an hour break. It's like, oh, is it alright if I sit here? And then my friend said, oh no, we're waiting for someone else. And he just kind of like defeatedly wandered off elsewhere where we could still smell him. Despite he was on the other side of the room. But I watched him like walk over to like multiple groups of people. Like, oh, is it alright if I sit here? And he like joined someone's pool game. Like 2 people were playing pool, and he like stood by the table until the game ended, and then like grabbed the thing from the guy. So yeah, no, nobody likes him, and he's aware of this. Maybe if he's aware of it, he should shower. And stop interrupting people, and stop like loudly talking about... I'm not gonna get into that. I didn't get into it last week. I'm not gonna get into it this week either. But he's an annoying guy. No one likes him. Not even the lecturers, who are paid to do so. Well, I mean, they're paid to give guidance, but they still have to be polite about it. Alright, we are coming up on about 40 minutes. I think I'll try and get 45. We're definitely... It's been a bit since we got an hour show. I apologize for that. It's also, I gotta say, been a bit since I've read The Meg. See if I can't actually... Hang on, when was the last time I did read it? Not on... I mean, I guess I don't remember when I read it on the channel. I think I can access... Let's see, Meg, a novel of deep terror. Properties, opens with, created, modified, accessed. That's... No, wait, hang on. March 27th. I have not read it since March 27th. So, been a while. I may... No, I will not drop it. I, for some reason, have this stubborn... I've finished everything I've ever started, except for Onward. I'll get to that, because I finished Ice Pirates. I'll finish this, and then I'll start the next one, the Trench, and then the next one, and until I've gone through the other 9. Which, by the time I get to the 9th, there'll probably be a 10th. And if that happens, then I'm gonna kill David. What's his name? What is his name? Hang on. Steve Alton. Steve Alton. There are... It would be incredibly easy for me to just write the book off as garbage and belittle it at every turn. It's very easy to be facetious. A lot of internet reviewers do this. If you were on the internet in about the 2000s, and maybe in like the 2010s too, because JonTron, a lot of the stuff he'll like look at is just like fine, but he'll go about talking about it in such a specific way that does not give it any credit. And it's just beating the thing up. And it's really like he's just framing it in that light. There is only one scene in this book that you could, being generous, say is like, this is a good scene. Everything else, if I were to talk about it, it would be like JonTron talking about just something that's alright. This is just a bad book. It's fun to tear apart, but I'll try and find like diamonds in the rough where they appear and be honest about that when I do get back to the book. It's a little hard to get the motivation to read something that you know is garbage. But maybe I'll look into it, the motivation of, I mean, there's something good in here. Would I call the book art? God, no. No, not even close. But time went into it. Some effort went into it. I think it deserves some credit. You gotta try when you engage with stuff. You have to meet it at its own level. Alright? Oh, I did have another talking point. Not a talking point, but seeing this, like, meeting art in its own level bit reminded me of something I had to do while watching Subway. So it was... the way I watched it... legally... the file they used was, like, corrupted or something. So it was out of sync, audio and video-wise. And it was just, it really got to me. I got maybe 7 minutes into it, and I was like, no, I can't watch it like this. So, I screen recorded the entire thing. I turned my monitors off, so I didn't see or hear anything that would, like, spoil me of it. And then I opened it up in Premiere Pro, and I put it back together. And it was like, alright, that's fine. It's synced up, and I watched it, and it was, after a few minutes of it being synced up, became unsynced again. It somehow, the version they had, unsyncs multiple times. So I gritted my teeth, and went, okay, let's just do it again. So and it's you find moments where people like clap, or they punch a wall, or they drop something, and maybe even if they yell. But there's enough times that happens in the film that you can be like, okay, this audio cue, because it'll like be silence, and then there'll be like a big dip. So it's not you can like, you're not gonna pull your hair out, but there's some effort that goes into it. There's some tedium that goes into it. So I went through that each time, and then the movie was completely in sync. It was as the filmmakers had envisioned it being. I went through the tedious effort of making it watchable. Do you know why I did it for a film that I didn't know anything about? It's just like my father's recommendation. And even then, like a film with barely any substance. Like, why would you go through that, Captain, for a film with just some good shots and lighting to it, no story, that you don't have any, like, personal, like, history with? And I'll tell you why, because it's art, goddammit. It deserves the effort. There's only so many ways I can, like, say it before I keep repeating myself, but you have to meet it at its own level. You have to meet at the same level, even if you have to raise the film up to your level. Or lower yourself to its, as in... I'm trying to think, okay, maybe the lowering it doesn't work. Because... Alright. That's all a roundabout way of saying, you should watch films in a specific way. Alright? If you're watching, like, a film and you're like doing something in the background, or you're watching it like on your phone on this like minuscule screen, you're doing a disservice to, one, yourself, because you're not experiencing it the way it was envisioned to be experienced, and two, the film, because again, you're not experiencing it the way it's meant to be experienced. It's art. It takes effort. All right? I know everyone, not everyone, that's unfair. But people want it to be, oh, it's just, can I have it now, or can I have it this way? No, you can and should not. You should try and like bend a little to the like will of this movie. There was it The Long Walk, where you could walk while you watch. I don't think that's how the film should be experienced, but having that like putting effort and being like, oh, kind of going through what the character's going through, and getting kicked out if you like fail to do so, that's pretty interesting. I think that's a neat promotion, but more things should do. All right. I got a bit heated there. I apologize. I'm passionate about it. Again, why'd you go through all the trouble to do that? Because I'm passionate about it. I love the medium. It deserves some credit. Alright, I've gotten all that out of my system. I've gotten my talking points through. I think I'm going to have some dinner now. And maybe turn my fan to an even higher setting than it is now. Because I'm not going to turn it off. We've reached the point where it's not happening, alright? But I will lower the power for videos. I mean, I'll lower it for like everyday videos, but for like, I gotta sit still in like the same, for like 40 minutes, I'm not having the fan off for 40 minutes. I'll have it on low, and then when I turn the recording off, I'll put it back up high, so I don't melt. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.